Welcome back to Rivals of the East. Buzz here with co-host Sean. And Sean, a little bit of news. We were wrong. What
Yeah, we were
happened?
rightly wrong. Not even close to correct.
DeAndre Hopkins is a Titan.
Yeah. So we thought it was going to be a shoe-in, but few things I didn't expect. Bill to continue being Bill.
Oh,
That's
what was that?
apparently
A
the news
cheapskate,
lines.
like I said in one of our previous episodes?
Cheesesteak.
Yeah,
That is
yeah,
correct.
he
The
is.
cheesesteak himself has spoken, and he said, "Fuck the cheese whiz. We're using American and milk. We're doing it
Bro,
the old-fashioned way."
okay. When we did that episode, and the rumor mill was going on, and there was good report. Apparently, Hopkins had some, from what I saw, a really good visit with the Patriots, and he was really friendly with the staff. And Bill and him got along. It seemed like it was clicking. Bill O'Brien even. And then I look at my phone just yesterday, and it says DeAndre Hopkins, a Titan, and all I could think about was an article I saw that popped up that day, and it was written by a Boston sports writer, and he says, and I quote. Let me see here. And I quote, while DeAndre Hopkins had great visits with Patriot facility members, staff, and players, he has decided to now become a Tennessee Titan with what we already know is a mediocre Ryan Tannehill.
I mean, that's a really nice sprinkle addition at the end there. I do appreciate that. But however, I will say the fault I think in the matter lies the day of the visit. Considering the roster, Juju hasn't even shown up for mini camp. He'll be here for training camp. They didn't know what like you haven't even seen the product on the field. That's going to be essentially your
Well,
number one wide receiver. And you let DeAndre Hopkins walk in your door, little nice meet and greet, chumming up a little bit,
you think there
see
was a
the
charcuterie board?
facilities.
You think they hit him with the charcuterie?
No, they hit him with the charcuterie board. I don't know what's going on there,
Is
but
it
it was
charcuterie? How's it pronounced?
charcuterie.
Charcuterie? I was calling it charcuterie.
Yeah, they gave him the charcuterie board because it ain't no good. It was
Bro, they gave him
uh,
Tostitos dip and chips. They said, "Here you
so
go."
so essentially. Let me get this straight. You paid Janu 12 mil
That's correct.
and the 15 mil for DeAndre Hopkins. Too much. Bill said too much. We can't do that. That's where I draw the line.
Let me
Um,
ask you, Sean,
yeah,
to your point real quick. Why did they not sign DeAndre Hopkins? Because the Titans got him for 13 mil a year, up to 17 with incentive, but 13 mil a year. Why didn't they sign him?
uh, two reasons. The only thing that was actually in the back of my mind the whole time that I was thinking of is Bill has this sort of method when he builds a roster positionally. Um, and I kind of mentioned it a few times recently to you. It's called the pecking order. So, for instance, the soldiers that fall in line do the exact way, the exact verbiage that Bill speaks when he talks to the media. The leadership guys, the guys that do the extra off the field, the guys that just do the damn job, do a little more, and they don't speak, they don't say shit about what they're not supposed to. Those are the guys Bill enjoys, and guess what? Those are the guys Bill overpays.
Like Trent Brown?
Matthew Slater, Devin McCourty.
Trent Brown?
No, not
Listen,
Trent Brown.
listen. All I'm saying is New England needed a number one. That's what
Yes,
you
they
guys
did.
needed. They
Correct.
had a number one walk in the door. And instead of saying, here's a contract, they said, here's sort of a contract. We know these other teams are bidding on you. And it was so bad that they made the Titans look better with Ryan Tannehill. Sean, let me ask you a quick question, pop quiz. Do you know what the offensive ranking for the Tennessee Titans was last year?
26. Worse.
29th.
Yeah. Hey man, I gave him my like right there,
I'll
but
give you credit. How about this? How about points per game? Where did they rank?
points per game.
1 through 32.
30.
They were 27th in points. So close. This is a bottom of the barrel team last year. Maybe they shock us this year. What's the saying? You weren't there for us when we went 8-9. Don't be there with us when we're 9-8. Kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I
Cowboy
do.
mentality. That's right.
I do want to share this though because I did. One of our last debates we had was Tannehill and Mac Jones. I want to read you off a little statistic here, Sean. Okay. For the 2022 season, they played almost the same amount of games, by the way.
Which is embarrassing.
Ryan Tannehill, 2,536 yards, 13 touchdowns, 6 picks, 94.6 rating. Mac Jones, 2,997 yards, 14 touchdowns, 11 picks, 84.8 rating. What if I told you they had the exact same completion percentage of 65.2?
Okay, so that's actually pretty interesting, and it puts a lot of things into context. Um, yeah, Ryan Tannehill is the same guy. He always has been, always will be. He had a mediocre cast around him, and as I would agree with the Patriots, that even worse offensive coordinator, and it was still the equivalent. So the fact that DeAndre Hopkins did that, ooh, um,
Now
here's the thing.
I do have this the year before. Okay, so I wanted to make it fair. Mac Jones, I'll start with Josh McDaniels. Okay,
Mhm.
3,801 yards. This is 2021. 3,801 yards, 22 touchdowns, 13 picks, 92.5 rating with a 67.6 completion percentage. Okay, Ryan Tannehill.
Second highest of all time at rookie percentage, by the way.
Right now, listen to this. Ryan Tannehill. 3,734 yards, 21 touchdowns, 14 picks, 89.6 rating, 67.2% completion rating. Yet again, almost identical.
And guess what? One was a rookie, one wasn't.
I mean, I'm just saying, maybe, just maybe, I was right, and maybe he just wanted to go to a better quarterback. I don't know. There's not much difference between Mac Jones and Ryan Tannehill.
How
You've
many
got
years? Derrick Henry, a Mike Vrabel, even a similar Patriots coaching tree kind of type of deal, and weird. He
now.
even had Julio Jones. Yeah, just
Listen,
and
this
yet they have three potential starting quarterbacks on their roster.
Well, here's what I will say. This is the caveat to give you some credence on your talking point, right? DeAndre Hopkins, I don't think DeAndre Hopkins is going to be the elevating factor that people
No,
think he might be. So I think more than anything, this will be kind of like a situation that's not like an AJ Brown because AJ Brown would put the team on his back once or twice a year.
AJ
Um,
Brown can stretch the field.
yeah,
Let's. I'm just gonna. And this isn't gonna be like a non-buyer's remorse kind of deal with me, where I'm gonna sit here and tell you all the reasons why DeAndre Hopkins isn't good because the Patriots didn't do it. So therefore, the Patriots are correct because actually, I feel quite the opposite. I think they're morons, but that's
yeah.
besides the point. Um, DeAndre Hopkins is Devontae Parker if he could stay healthy and actually reach his limits. Possession catches. Every time the ball comes in his radius, he catches it. He stays healthy. That's DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins has never been a separator. He's never been a speedster. In fact, I do believe he ran a 40 of a 4.5, which is very slow. Okay. So AJ Brown is actually far faster,
Oh yeah,
far faster than DeAndre Hopkins. Actually, he's very similar to Julio, just using his frame, his radius, making athletic catches. He's very similar to him.
right.
Actually, I may even say even better. But that's besides the point. I want to get back to
Patriots.
Bill's
Yeah.
apparent reasoning, which I think is the pecking order. Juju Smith Schuster is making essentially 9 mil. Okay. And he's your number one. And then you have Devontae Parker that was making the 6, which, if I do remind you, I did talk about how he bristled at the question of DeAndre Hopkins being there. Got a little irritated and a little tooty with the media when they asked him the question about that he only cared about the players that were there and on the team and that were going to make the impact on the current team, which I think somehow Bill kind of sat there probably after he had the agents to Devontae Parker and Juju Smith come forward and potentially this is all just me kind of precluding. This isn't like actual things that happened or someone said. This is something that I could see a scenario where Juju, you just signed, he kind of had, he was the Super Bowl guy. He was in the spotlight. He looked really good with Patrick Mahomes. That being with Patrick Mahomes. Um, hasn't been the guy really necessarily that he was the year previous to being the number one on the Steelers. And then you have Devontae Parker, who was always supposed to be the number one guy. I think more than everyone. It's always been injuries. It's always been injuries. It wasn't that the guy wasn't skilled. It wasn't that he wasn't athletic. It wasn't that he didn't have potential. He always got injured.
The year he
So
did
yeah,
stay healthy with Fitzpatrick, he was the number one AFC wide receiver. He led in yards, touchdowns, receptions. So
and I think when you have these guys that are getting paid essentially, I think Bill got the same guy he got with Jacoby. He got a guy that may be a little more media friendly, but he's probably a little bit faster, probably has a little more explosiveness than Jacoby. He may not be as big as Jacoby, but he's probably more explosive. So he probably essentially got what he wanted, didn't drive up his own price range for his own guy. And then Devontae Parker, he got a veteran. So he essentially got the same two guys that he wanted on his offense. He didn't have to pay a crazy amount of money. They're in the system now, okay? Juju came from Andy Reid's offense. He's probably familiarized. If you guys didn't know, he's actually really good friends with Andy Reid. So when we're talking about money, you're paying 9 and then you're paying 8 for Devontae Parker. And then you had Hopkins that would have came in getting paid if they paid the rate 15 mil. You try turning around and explaining to your team when you're a guy like Bill Belichick, who comprises his coaching, his mythology, like based off, pretty much every day you got to work. It's got to be hard. You got to be disciplined. You got to go to training camp. You got to treat every rep like it matters. Oh yeah, that's right. DeAndre Hopkins doesn't like training. He doesn't like practice. In fact, he skips training camp, mini camp, practices. But he's skilled, so kind of do you kind of start to understand why, in a sense, I'm not saying it's right, but I could see how in Bill, like thinking, Bill's exact thinking, where he's like, I just paid these guys money. And if I sit here and turn around and pay this guy money, who doesn't do those things I preach, how does that settle? How does that work?
Well, I'll tell you how it works, Sean, because there was an article that came out today, by the way. Got it on the screen here. Bill Belichick is on the hot seat. Patriots Insider. We talked a little bit about this. This is from the New York Post. So I'll go over this briefly here, but article says here, according to Tom Curran, NBC Sports Boston's Patriot Insider, who spoke about the matter on the Rich Eisen show on Monday, said, and I quote, "You talk about avoiding the hot seat. Rich, he's on the hot seat, and he's been there at different levels of warmth since 2019, Curran said. He also said, and I quote, look at it this way. In 2019, Tom Brady wanted a 2-year, $50 million guaranteed contract just like Drew Brees had. He presumed he was going to get that, Curran said. Quote, in training camp, it was still not forthcoming, and he was like, you know what? If I don't get this thing, I'm walking out. It was explained to Belichick that was the case. They got something done. It was not a 2-year guaranteed contract. It was 2 years with a team option. Later on, down here in the article, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it just goes into a little bit about Mac Jones's rookie year, the dysfunction with Patricia, which we all knew, and then he ended here saying, "quote Kraft has pointed out a number of times. I'm anxious. I want results, and he's not getting them," Grant said. So this comes out right around the same time that Bill doesn't get the Hopkins deal done. What's your take? Is this the last season that Bill's going to be there? They've got all this cap space. They're not signing anybody. What are they saving it for? Is it maybe the dark horse in the race like Dalvin Cook? Like, what is it?
So I will say that is a bit of a confusing scenario. And I actually think, in fact, I've suggested it doesn't add up in the sense that the Patriots have had not nearly as much cap space as they currently do have. And it's not normal. It's strange. So they didn't make that move, and you're like, okay, so surely another move comes. If it doesn't, and it just goes into re-signing players and extending contracts, I'm like, okay, you could argue that, like, the Kyle Duggars of the world, or maybe Michael Onwenu, who's coming up, and I actually think a very young star on the offensive line that maybe Trent Brown's time's come. So maybe you need to extend some of those guys on the line. I'm fine with that. Like, it makes sense. Jonathan Jones, he just signed to a 2-year contract. Maybe they decide later this year that maybe we're going to keep him. You got to think about those things. Matthew Judon, his contract's coming up already. Do you extend him? I'd probably say yeah, but it depends. It depends on how he plays this year, because he is getting up there in age. But correlating to the report that you said, it's actually not the first time that's been reported. So that's why I actually find it's kind of annoying and kind of misuninformed.
He did say multiple times
multiple times.
Yeah, he did say different levels of warmth.
Yeah, but it's essentially circumstantial when you're a media guy and you're a journalist, and the signing didn't go the way some of the Patriot fans didn't like. So I'm probably going to get a little more views right now. So I think it is circumstantial in that point, because in my opinion, when you look at the circumstances from 2019, there has already been a time or two. Bill Belichick on the record indirectly has said he questioned Tom Brady's age and was starting to wonder if he needed to prepare for something that hasn't already come, which, if you haven't noticed, Bill already does that. He's been doing that. He's done it with greats. He sent Randy Moss up. How many times have we seen these players where people go, I can't believe Bill didn't re-sign them, and then they go somewhere else and never hear from him again
Well,
because they have terrible seasons.
who was it that Bill cut after they won the Super Bowl? They had a downward year in 2002, and he had cut one of their defensive backs. Who was it? It wasn't Ty Law, was it?
No, it was a linebacker.
Uh they had cut somebody and they went to the Bills. And so people were like, "Why would you do that? He was one of your best defensive players." And the Bills blew him out 33 to nothing, I think it was back then. And then of course Patriots went on to go and like 14-2 the next, or
Yeah.
14-2
So
that year or whatever. So it's happened
yeah.
multiple
So
times.
the only time I can really say the Patriots let someone go and it really bit them in the ass is Chandler Jones.
Could you
Chandler
imagine
Jones.
him on your team right now with Judon and Uche?
Yeah, Chandler Jones, I think, was one of the few guys they let go, and Bill made a miscalculation. He probably took that situation with him, you know, being on Spice, walking around near naked, which I think, as a head coach, that's pretty understandable in a contract year going, maybe this isn't the guy that I want to keep around. Like I kind of get that. And that's why I kind of understand the scenario they're in. But there needs to be an answer. There needs to be a response. Bill needs to do something. If he seriously thinks a slot receiver, which let's be honest, Juju has been the best when he is a slot receiver. Okay. When he was the starting receiver, he put up very terrible numbers with the Steelers and then got injured. Shocking. So yeah, Devontae Parker, Juju. That's Tyquan Thornton. I can't really say. I don't know. It's all projections. So when we hear about the hot seat didn't start in 2019 when they went to the playoffs
Playoffs?
and let Tom Brady go. That was not the hot seat. I think Kraft even said it, I think, best. He said, "It saddens me as a fan to see Tom Brady move, but as an owner, I know it's business and it's probably what's in the best interest for us to move forward." He agreed.
Not only did they
Did
lose to the Titans in that playoff game, Bill also lost to the Titans yet again this offseason.
correct.
Wow.
So moving forward,
Are you
COVID,
guys?
COVID,
Oh,
COVID,
timeline
correct?
wise. Yeah, yeah.
COVID year where we
The
all
Cam Newton
literally
era.
just no, we literally all just went, well, this season's going to be in the trash can, essentially, which it kind of was. It was kind of a disgusting year of football. Some of the worst football I think we've ever seen. Cam Newton specifically. I specifically hate Cam. I have always hated Cam. He was there, and I went, maybe, just maybe. No.
Another genius Bill move. You know,
And I think Kraft also went. I mean, I can't really blame you for that. I can't. Then you draft a rookie, Mac Jones, has one of the best rookie quarterback seasons in NFL history, on the cusp, of playoffs. He went toe to toe with Tom Brady and lasted to the last drive where the Patriots defense ultimately lost it. Dak Prescott, Cowboys, they went toe to toe, overtime, cusp of winning. This is a rookie quarterback. Kraft didn't sit here after the year and go, yeah, this is a dumpster fire. Bill doesn't know what he's doing. No, it happened last year. I think as soon as Bill made the comment about money going, we've gone 3 years in a row with the least spending in 3 year cycle. That saying that, knowing your boss is going to hear it, yeah, don't know if that was the smartest move. Don't. I don't think I'm gonna tell my boss. Yeah, he's a fucking cheapskate to his face. I don't think that's gonna go well with anyone. If it's the case or not, we don't know the case. Yeah,
well,
Bill's sitting here saying, "I wish I could spend more," and we go, Bill, spend more. But then again, you look at 2021, kind of changed it up. 2007, didn't expect that. That happened, which, of course, big
Okay.
contracts
Two
were like 3-year contracts for Wes Welker making 14 mil.
All right. Well, 2 seasons out of like 20 something years. Okay. But what I'm saying is that,
6 Super Bowl rings, but yeah, continue.
oh, enough of that. I'm
No,
talking about money,
yeah,
not
but
rings.
that coach, yeah, it was. I know,
Yeah,
I
which
know.
who also didn't make the playoffs last year. But what I'm saying is that when it comes down to it, there's only one thing we got to know, Sean. Is
What?
this Bill Belichick's last year coaching the New England Patriots?
No, no,
Why?
it's not. It's not.
Why?
I think multiple reasons. So Mac Jones has been in this tribulous up and down kind of projection already, and this is essentially, is it Mac Jones or is it Bill Belichick?
So who would go
You,
first, Mac or Bill?
yeah, that's my point. You tell me, as an owner, you traded for a head coach. He brought you that many Super Bowls. You're going to be the guy that's going to sit here and go, I invested in this guy when no one else believed in him. He brought all these championships to my team, my organization, turned me into one of the most profitable organizations. You're going to be the guy that's going to let Bill Belichick walk out the door after one quarterback, after the greatest quarterback of all time didn't. You know what I mean?
Who also
Like,
went on to win a
Mac
Super Bowl
Jones doesn't work out.
without him?
Didn't work out. Yeah, we've
So
seen in the
was it
past few
really Bill?
years,
Was it really Bill
which
or was it really Tom?
it's Tom. It's
Okay,
it's
so that
Tom.
tells you Bill's not as good as his resume may look.
You listen. You could be a good head coach. You could be the greatest head coach of all time. If you're a terrible GM, you're a terrible GM. If you asked my preference on the matter if Bill should be a GM anymore, he shouldn't be.
He won't step
I
down.
think that's I, yes, exactly. I don't think Kraft is going to put him in that position after one quarterback, after the greatest quarterback of all time, left. I don't think that's how it ends. I think it's going to be Bill making his one last shot. Mac Jones works. He's going to reload. That's going to be it. Or they let Mac Jones walk. He signs a very good quarterback, builds a
Who?
team, and goes, we don't know.
Well,
We don't know who's going to become available.
who would?
Okay. No, for instance, yeah, because we knew Aaron Rodgers was going to the Jets, right?
Well, he said so.
You knew that was happening last year.
There were
No,
talks
no,
last
you
year
didn't.
that Rodgers was not going to.
No,
No. There were
no,
talks that
no.
Rodgers was not going to be in Green Bay anymore. That's
Yeah,
been going on for
that's
years.
that's my point. How does that happen? It happens after tribulation. So if we're going through the season and you see another quarter, well, for instance, I wouldn't say Matt Stafford is a great quarterback. He's probably going to be available soon.
Yeah,
Am I wrong?
did you see where the Rams asked him to redo his deal and he told him to kick rocks?
I mean, they traded all those picks for him, and he's like, "Didn't I? Didn't we just go to a Super Bowl?"
He's like, "Didn't I just get hurt last year? I need all the money I can
And
get."
uh, didn't you guys kind of dump half the roster, and then are going, "Oh, we're also gonna need you to take a paycheck." Yeah, just gone, and it's gone.
So let me ask you this: mid-season, well, we'll check back in mid-season on it. But if Patriots don't make the playoffs this year, but Mac has a good season,
But
is
this,
Bill
this is going to be
still?
a weekly notice. Let's just say that.
You think so?
Yes, this is going to
Speak
be a weekly topic. I think. I,
the
I think NFL wise, let alone Patriots.
Patriots win. Bill's job is secure. Next
listen,
week they lose. Bill's on the hot
I
seat.
don't know. I don't know if you know. Listen, Miami fans, like, this is just another day of any year in Dolphin organization where
We
you
give
just
our
go,
coaches 3 years.
yeah,
You know that.
our coach gone. It's whatever. It's Bill Belichick. New England fans have been saying before 2016, Bill, oh, he's overrated. He's got to go. Oh, he doesn't pay the money. If you ask my stepdad, Gino, right now, he's been saying the same thing since 2007. He goes, we had that 1 year. We paid all the money. We paid the star. We paid the guy that runs fast down the field. We haven't done it since. We don't stretch the field. It's the offense. We don't pay money on offense. That's why we won't continue. Guess what? They won multiple more Super Bowls. Gino, it's not your fault. Maybe it's not Bill either. Maybe it was Tom Brady. I think it was. I don't disagree with
Well,
that. I'm just saying,
obviously,
I'm gonna take the rings, but
Bruce
it
Arians is a Super Bowl winning head coach because of Tom Brady. Let that sink in. The drunken tomato has a championship to his resume.
down here in Florida we call that sweet tomato, but if
You
it
know,
exists anymore.
if drunken anger was an actual person, Bruce Arians is your guy. He's like that
well,
angry stepdad.
well, now it's going to be Bill O'Brien. So let's
Oh yeah.
see if Bill O'Brien's actually going to pay off. For all we know, this whole time, Matt Patricia was, hey, we don't really have anyone else. He already has another year committed to, one of our favorite, college coaches currently. He's not going to let him go. I don't want to screw him. Let's just put Matty P in. Let's see how that works. Save some money. Kraft, yeah. Save money, yeah. No thanks. You got another option. I think Billy O already knew he was going to come. I don't think it was really much of a. They paid him a crap ton of money, I'm sure. So
Well,
here he is. Let's see how that plays out. Ultimately, I think Billy O has a lot more to say about Mac Jones than Bill does.
all things
Think of it
considered.
that way, because he's probably sitting here assessing, and he already probably has an idea. That's the guy that apparently gave the playbook to Billy O and told him all the concepts of Alabama. And I'm like, yeah, and Billy O's never coached an offense before. So I don't know how I feel about that report, but
Well,
we'll see.
obviously, we'll be keeping an eye on that as the season goes along. It's going to be a pretty wild storyline, I think, as it keeps going. Because if everything falls apart in New England and things go off the rails, and yeah, but if it goes well,
Speaking
and
of off the rails,
but yeah,
how about take a step off the weight scale?
well, now that you mention it, Sean, have you seen Tua Tagovailoa's Weight Watchers transformation? No, I shouldn't say that. Tua has gone a physical transformation this offseason. And so there's like some debate as to whether, because we haven't got too many good shots, but there's a recent photo that came out of him. Okay. And I want you to see this shot, Sean. What do you think about this? Look at this. This is Tua.
My argument is it's based off the way he's standing with his feet outward, and it's a wide lens. But
I don't
then
know.
you look at who's next to him, and then you start to go,
Now,
mm,
this is something that has happened here. I want to look at this. Uh
I
Tua
want to see
body.
the numbers. I want to see the numbers.
Well, so this was Tua rookie season. You can kind of see he was a little slender there.
I can't see anything, honestly.
Oh, okay. Well, here. Let's look at this. There's Tua. Left hand side, you see he's a little slender. Right hand side, his midsection really filled out. He was not wearing the flak jacket, as they call it. You can see in this picture here. He was not wearing a flak jacket in his picture on the right with the red jersey. So he's gained significant weight this off season. And so when I don't know what the hell is that. Anyways,
Oh Jesus!
here's
Yeah, so third
here's
leg.
another one. Okay, so here's another one. This is one from Twitter here. Look at this. This is a picture of Tua as well from a few months ago. So, you can kind of take a look there and see. He's
So,
filled
guys,
out.
obviously, anyone that's just listening to the podcast and not seeing the video description, I'm just going to fill that airspace right there for you. So, there's a clear description that I even sat there and just being a smartass the other day, I walked up to my wife and I held out my phone and I went, "Hey, why don't you take a look at this athlete?" And she's just like, "Why do you always come up with these random like?" She's like, "It's just weird." I'm like, just listen to me." And I'm like, "Just look at this photo." I was like, "Okay, what do you think about this?" She goes, "Yeah, he looks athletic, slender." And I was like, "Okay." Pull out another photo, and she goes, "Who the hell's that?"
Did you
I
show her
think
Tua?
that's. I literally think that's my best explanation of the photo we just currently saw, where it looks like he was at a wedding or maybe, I don't know, a
Some kind of
reception or
event.
something. But this guy looks like he actually put on like, if you were like a telephone pole and you just widen yourself by a whole nother width, that looks like Tua currently.
Listen,
Um,
Tua
what
Tua
was that
has
report you told me that you
okay.
actually read?
Okay. So Tua it was out of college at about 206. To the start of the season last year was about 210. Okay. He's about 5'11. He's 210. Yeah, 5'11, 210. He pretty athletic guy. Now he's still 5'11, but he is now clocking in at 238.7. Now, just the other day, he was also his trainer was talking about his transformation and said that Tua is at 240 and that he is only at 10% body fat.
That's
That is a lie. Now, I'm sure that Tua's gained more muscle in his legs and things like that.
yeah, no, I mean,
No
I
question.
agree with that. I
But I am going to say straight up cap on his, I don't know his name, his trainer. I don't know his name of his company. Sorry, I can't plug it, but
yes, because the trainer being
10%?
paid, the trainer being paid by either the team facility or the actual player.
It's
Yeah,
Tua.
last time I checked, they don't outwardly put out information going, "He looks like crap,"
Yeah.
you know?
I
Um,
personally, here's my concern. This was done.
slower.
It was also
Yeah.
stated, well, hold on. It was stated that he put on more weight so he could take more hits, so he would be more durable. That's why he was putting on weight. So we got Tua who was learning. He was studying. Himself said he was studying film on how to fall. He was looking at game film of himself falling and studying it so he could do better at falling. He took, was it jiu-jitsu? Was it jiu-jitsu he took this offseason? Yes. So he could learn how to fall. He put on roughly 30 pounds, I guess, from the reports. 30 pounds. I mean, he couldn't run really that fast already. My concern is this guy, Tua is a nice person. Okay. I hate to see anything bad happen to this guy because there's nothing he's done wrong. I don't have anything against Tua. Do I think he's a good quarterback? Not really. He's never really demonstrated anything outside of maybe 4 or 5 games in his whole career so far. He's injury prone. He's been undersized. Now he's trying to compensate way to the other extreme. And I just think that personally, going into your fourth year as an NFL starting quarterback, you've been hurt every single season by week 5. You have consistently demonstrated confidence issues and how you've spoken about yourself and reports that have been put out there from your head coaches, not just one, but multiple. I just, they've looked into replacing him multiple times, Tom Brady, Deshaun Watson, etc. There's no real confidence there. He sees all these guys in his draft class like Joe Burrow and uh, Justin Herbert and
Herbert.
whatnot. They're going to be getting contract extensions. He's not as of right now. So he got a 5th-year option. You can't help but look at the writing on the wall, I personally feel like, and say, like, he's doing everything he can. He's trying everything he can to make sure that he's better, which is what you want. But I just personally don't think that going this direction is going to help him when he needs to be able to extend plays, and putting on that
Yes.
weight. It
My
ain't going to
my
help.
biggest my biggest argument is something you pointed out earlier this offseason that we saw. So for instance, he's got the helmet cam on, right?
Yeah.
So he could see the quarterback vision, replay it, review it, kind of break down and understand something. So he's made there's been multiple comments about whether it's the weather, how to grip the ball, throw the ball in certain weather scenarios, reviewing film to see how the quarterback vision works. And now we're talking about how to fall, gaining weight to overcompensate for the fact that you're getting hit initially is part of the problem. So, how does this all tie in together? If you're a fast, decisive quarterback with decision making, I think it's fair to argue you wouldn't be getting hit at all. He doesn't
Listen,
even have to physically be fast if you mentally make the decision.
or, make a step to the left or to the right, just have a pocket
Yes,
presence like
for
that.
instance, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning are some of the most unathletic. I apologize, anyone out there ready to rip me into pieces.
Listen,
Some of the most unathletic people on their feet. And guess what they did? They made it happen. Tom Brady takes one step. He didn't run, he didn't scramble, he didn't no look throw, he didn't leap across the field and throw a ball as he's going to the ground like Patrick Mahomes. He took a step. He knew where he was looking, he kept his eyes downfield, he knew the read, he went down his progression, he made the throw. You have made the comments in previous past, and I think all the evidence suggests and points in the same direction. His decision making and where his eyes are the problem. The fact that they're using a camera now and they're having to consider other options that maybe he's just okay, maybe he can't make the read, maybe he can't do it fast enough. Let's surround him with faster players. Let's give him camera view so he can review his decision making. Maybe if he adds weight because he can't do these things, he could take hits. Maybe he could do jujitsu so we can land on the ground without getting injured. These are all different situations, information, and aspects that he is taking in place that is avoiding the real issue. Maybe he's just not good at reading defenses. Maybe that's the problem.
unfortunately, he is not very good at reading defenses.
He makes
And,
first reads. I think we've seen that. He
well, if
takes
you
the first read and struggles.
listen, I want to defend to, and then I'm going to rip into him. Every offense in the NFL, every NFL quarterback does
Has
have
a
a time,
primary.
does have a rhyme or rhythm time-based system as
Correct.
well. That is nothing that is strictly to or Miami. Every NFL quarterback has that. Every single one.
A two-step drop, 3, 5, 7.
Every
Yes.
single one,
Yes.
from guys like Aaron Rodgers all the way to Kirk Cousins, whatever. Okay. The problem What separates is like when your rhythm gets off, how do you respond? How quickly can you go to your second, your third, your fourth read? Can you look in the flat? Can you make a quick decision there? Can you feel the pocket? Can you maybe step up a little bit and when you sense some pressure? I just don't think looking at his film and looking at him play, he's capable on a consistent basis to compensate for a messed up time on his rhythm. For example, the games where he played bad defenses and that stretchy games, Texans, Browns, Lions, things like that, he looked great. It was all rhythm and timing. The games where it got disrupted, like the Chargers, the 49ers, Bills, when you look at what were some of the other games that we had played? The Steelers. I mean, some of those other games, he just did not look good at all, like at all, because it was the same thing. One particular, like the Chargers game, he threw the ball 15 yards deep over the head of the defender straight to the dirt when Tyreek was supposed to be there, but he was knocked off the rhythm, off his timing because he got bumped within 5 yards by a linebacker, right? Tua threw it anyways instead of just looking and seeing and reading. He's going to throw it whether you're there or not. That's just it. Whether you're there or not, the ball's going to be there. So it's your job as a receiver to make sure you're there on time. They're trying to take as much pressure off him as they can. What this will lead to, though, and I can't stress this enough. What this will lead to, though, is more inability with all of his extra whistles and bells, more inability to just say, learn to extend plays. Get out the pocket a little bit, step in the pocket up, do this, get the extension of the plays. All the quarterbacks who are top 10, top 15 quarterbacks can extend plays on a consistent basis or semi-consistent basis. He cannot. He just
See,
cannot.
see, my argument with that decision making, let alone the way they just orchestrate or build the offense or run it or coach it or scheme it, if the quarterback has that issue, instead of surrounding him with those receivers and throwing it vertically, wouldn't you just run the ball to make decisions easier and play action?
That I don't think, and maybe I'm wrong, but after
Maybe,
1 year, I don't think Mike McDaniel is a run guru. I don't.
and that's ultimately where I think it comes
I
full
in
circle.
fact, in fact, this let me make this clear. I don't care if it's Mike McDaniel's there. I don't care if it's Brian Flores there. Okay. I started saying good things about Brian Flores when he took a dumpster fire team and we won 5 games and we started showing progress. I said, let's give him another year, see how it goes. We got into that second year. We had a winning record. The next year, we had a winning record. Now, I will say the same thing about Mike McDaniel. He has done a very good job of generating and scheming Tyreek Hill open and trying to get our offense in a better place, but he hasn't done anything. Like he hasn't proven anything. You spent 200 million more dollars under Mike McDaniel than you did Brian Flores to finish with the same record. What am I supposed to be happy about as a fan? What am I supposed to
It's
say?
ultimately at the end of the day, the way I look at it is you guys were better offensively. It's not even a question. You
Yeah.
guys were head and shoulders better. What did it result in wins? And then secondly, at what cost? Your defense.
Well, I know everybody thinks Vic Fangio is coming in here and we're going to be a top 5 defense. In fact, I saw an article that was written by one of the Dolphin writers that said, if we're not a top 10 defense, it's a disappointment. I'm like, well, prepare to be disappointed because it ain't
Well,
going to be a top 10 defense. We'll be better
top
than we
10
were.
defense, I would even say, is so if all the offenses are scoring and your defense is the best of the, like, you know what I mean? Just like,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's even the place you want to be. Like, top 10, I think paying that money for Jalen Ramsey, Xavier Howard, and then you have Christian Wilkins coming up. Yeah, Jerome Baker. Like, there's a lot of things that I'm just like, I don't think that's good enough.
Well, Vic
Look, you're
Fangio
in
has
the
even said,
AFC. not only are you guys in the AFC, which I think is the best offenses in the NFL, you're
Yes.
in the AFC East, which is now more competitive than it's ever been. And
Yeah.
guess what? That's not including the Patriots offense because they probably have the worst.
Who's going to have a better offensive ranking at the end of the season, Patriots or Titans?
Patriots, I don't think very much
We're
of
going
the
to take that
Titans
bet.
offense.
We're going to take that bet.
I will take that. What do you want to go that according to actual NFL stats or PFF?
We're going to go like actual NFL stats, like ranking for like actual offense at the end of the year.
If you want to do passing, rushing, and then turnover differential,
We'll do
yeah, that's
total.
fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Total. Titans
Yeah,
are
I'm
going to
fine with
finish above
that.
the Patriots.
I'll be like, okay, so Derrick Henry will rush for 1,600 yards or
No, he'll
some
rush for
bullshit.
3,000 yards.
Yeah,
3,000
and then
yards.
and then you'll have Ryan Tannehill with
800 yards.
3,000, and Mac Jones on his own will do like 4,000. Ramondre will get 1,000, and then
Okay,
you'll
the
look
interest
stupid.
so do you think um this okay. Will Mac and Cheese finish with more passing yards than Gouda Cheddar Vialoa?
Uh, that is actually a tough one because I can sit there and see a scenario where Tua passes more yards, and I go, he had a worse season.
What would make it a worse season?
So, because they can't run the ball for one, um, you have Tyreek Hill if he's there on the field. I could see them just throwing the ball a million times, doing screens to compensate for the fact that Tyreek's gone and having to use an undercutting type of offense. And I could
Bro,
still see that netting high yardage, but not necessarily resulting in any difference as a win.
if this investigation wraps up and the NFL says Tyreek, you're suspended, season's done. It's cooked. Okay. If anybody wants to try and tell me Mike McDaniel's got something up his sleeve, no, he doesn't. Tyreek Hill's the answer. Without Tyreek Hill, and I love Jalen Waddle,
Tyreek Hill is the offense. Jalen Waddle
he'll just get
is an
double,
all
triple
pro.
teamed.
He's an all pro, but like he can't. Who do you
He
have
just
behind that? Chosen Anderson, a guy that's been hodgepodge offense to offense, hasn't had an identity since his 2 year window. He
with
had
the
good seasons in
Panthers,
New York with
or no, New York, yeah.
bad offenses.
Well, it's like we
Just
got,
because you force feed a ball to a receiver doesn't make them good. It just doesn't. You could the Patriots. Matt Jones threw the ball 69 times to Ramondre Stevenson, and people go, "Well, that's a really good number." And you go, "That's less than 500 yards. That's not good." You
hey,
killed him.
who's going to have more rushing yards, Ramondre Stevenson or Raheem Mostert?
Mondre, that fuck. You want to put 100 right now? I'll put 100.
Well,
Mostert will blow his ankle out week 4.
oh God, I hope not. Well, you injured his thumb last time. Hopefully, it's not like an ACL or something. Knock on wood.
Jesus.
Well, that's all pretty much we got for today, everybody. We are going to be back next week with more talk. I'm sure something crazy is going to happen in the meantime. We'll see what's
Always
going on.
does.
We
Maybe
got
Dalvin Cook, guys.
maybe
Maybe.
Dalvin Cook. Bill has a change of heart about running backs just because he sees the gang all there and he makes the
He'll
wrong
be like, it's
text.
Curtis Martin 2.0. So
Yeah,
who knows?
exactly. But go ahead if you like the video, y'all. Give us a like, give us a subscribe wherever podcasts are available. You can catch us there, Rivals of the East. And until next time, peace out, y'all.